Hi, friends. I'm back from my trip and I want to tell you about it, tell you what I ate, what I wasn't able to eat, how I did with all of the food situation, and I want to share some non scale victories. I had a couple of them. That was nice. And some things that I did do well, and some things that just did not go well. And then, of course, at the end, whether, I gained or lost. But we'll deal with that later. Welcome. If you are new here, my name is Rebecca. I am documenting my journey on a GLP-1 medication. I'm on ZepBound 5 milligrams. And if you want to follow along with my journey, please hit the subscribe button. It helps me out and it also shares my video with other people who might be interested. So thank you if you do that. So last week on my GLP-1 journey, I was down 21.4 pounds, and the last time I talked to you, I was getting ready for my trip. I told you about some things that I was doing to prep, and I did do those things, and I'm glad I did. I'm really glad I thought about a few things ahead of time. I did ultimately decide not to take the blender, and I think I already packed when I did that video, but I was still wondering if I should take it. I did not take it, but I did take, like I said, packets. This is actually my clear protein in a little packet. I know, looks like looks like drugs. Protein is the new drug. Okay, don't, it's not for children. Okay, sorry. At any rate, so Wednesday morning, I got up and I got to the airport, and the first thing I did was I grabbed a Starbucks skinny vanilla latte, and I dumped a packet of, I think it was vanilla, and I'm going to show you a picture of what that looked like in the airport right here. And it worked really well. And here's the other thing that I didn't mention because I wasn't sure. It was kind of a last minute decision. This is I took this specifically for putting protein into my coffee. So this is like more than 20 ounces. I think this is 24 ounces. I put a venti in here, I dump my protein in it, and I can shake it. And then the other thing that's nice about it is it fits in my pocket of my backpack, my personal item. And then I don't even have to worry about, like when I'm getting on the plane or whatever, I don't have to worry about it spilling. So I take this most of the time that I fly. And then the other thing that I took was, I mentioned this last time, my Hydro Flask. This is 32 ounces, and I'm really glad I took this because what I did later on in the week was use that to stay hydrated, which I didn't do a very good job of, but I'll get to that. So I got to the hotel and I was tired, and few people were meeting at the what did I call it? What was it called? The pub bar restaurant that they had in the hotel lobby. And we met there, and the only thing I could find was a chicken sandwich, but they had onion rings, and I love onion rings. I love onion rings. Good onion rings. And so I got the chicken sandwich, and it was giant. I did cut it. I know everybody was kind of looking at me kind of funny, but I did cut it. I ate about half. I didn't eat the whole bun with it, but I ate most of that half, and I could only have like 2 onion rings, but they were glorious. So I enjoyed it. And then the next morning, I did the same thing with my coffee because they had a little cafe downstairs in the lobby where they were doing drinks and stuff. So I was able to do the exact same thing. I put a packet of protein, and I only did, it would have been like the equivalent of half of a shake. Because when I've tried to put in like 2 scoops, which would be like a whole shake, it just gets too clumpy for me. So I did that, and then, midday I put, this is only 1 scoop, so I put basically the equivalent of 2 scoops in here, filled it up with ice and water, shook it up really well. So between the coffee with 1 scoop and then my clear protein with 1 or 2 scoops, I was able to like keep my protein up in addition to whatever else I was eating. And I'm glad I did that because I didn't know what I was going to be eating or if I was going to be able to eat anything that they gave us. Lunch that day, though, the first day was awesome. They did beef fajitas, and they had bell peppers in there, yellow bell peppers, and I think a couple red bell peppers or whatever. The meat was perfect. They also did like a homemade guacamole, which was great because that's good fat. I like incorporating avocados for the good fats and stuff, and their filling. And I did not eat the rice. It looks like more food on that plate than there really is because those chips are kind of big. And I only ate like 3 chips with the guacamole, and then I ate all of the beef, and I ate all of the lettuce, the salad, and then they had like this Mexican corn salad, and that was pretty good. I didn't eat all of that either, but it was really good. And I'm like, great, this is starting off really, really well. And it didn't continue that way, unfortunately. And so one night for dinner, I ordered out DoorDash, and they had a PF Chang's. And so I got the miso salmon with the Kung Pao Brussels sprouts. And there's no freaking way I could have eaten all of that. And the problem was, or at least I feel the problem was, that there was no microwave and no refrigerator in the hotel. So whatever I didn't eat, I had to throw away. And that just, if I had my choice of hotels, especially now on a GLP-1, I would definitely try very hard to get at least a fridge and hopefully a microwave, because you can't eat a whole meal anymore. I can't eat a whole meal anymore. So the lunches were okay. I kind of made do, so to speak, that they gave us, because I didn't have any control over that. And then, so Saturday night is our banquet dinner. And I chose the chicken piccata because I thought that would be safe. And I wish I had taken a picture of it. I don't know who was cooking that night. I mean, the chicken was okay, but it was like covered in this sauce that I swear tasted like white flour and maybe lard, maybe oil. Like no spices, no flavoring, and just like really thick, like a white flour roux that had not been cooked, if you know what that is. And then 2 little capers on top. No flavoring, no lemon flavor, no nothing. So I tried to scrape that off of the chicken and just eat the chicken, but it was just like covered in it. So that's not something I would choose to put in my body at this point in my life. And there was no flavor to it anyway. And then they did have a salad. And then the funny thing was, because I've been eating more salads and I'm trying to fill up and I need the greens for fiber, right? So they served, it was a sit down. Everything else had been buffet up to that point. But this night was sit down. So we sit down and they give me this salad on a plate, and it was like tiny salad. And we happened to have, because people were bouncing around and stuff, we happened to have an open seat, and the open seat, they gave a big salad too. I did the tackiest thing I've ever done at a banquet or a formal dinner. I got up and I walked over to the other side of the table and I exchanged plates, and I got the bigger salad, and I actually took a picture of it. And by the way, I ate maybe almost half of that piece of cake. So here's the problem. Between what they were giving us and what I could order out, it was too heavy. There was too much fat, I think. And then the other thing was I was not hydrating enough. So by Friday night, I could tell I was kind of constipated, and that was not fun. Got through Saturday, and it felt like it was getting worse. And I was very uncomfortable, but I got through it. And the reason why I bring that up, that everything was really heavy, was also because I was taking a lot of Tums. I didn't know the connection between Tums and constipation. I had no clue, because I've never dealt with constipation before being on a GLP-1. So got home, and in fact, I think it was Saturday, I got on my phone, and oh shoot, I was going to bring it with me. There's something called Mag 7. I'll put a picture here. And I ordered that because I've heard other people talk about it. So I came home Sunday night, and that was another thing. I was traveling all day because they were connecting flights, and so it was a long travel day, and I had to grab something to eat in the airport, and that wasn't good for me either because I only had like an hour in between, and I didn't want to miss my flight, so I think I grabbed a hamburger and French fries. I know I only ate like 3 French fries and maybe a third of the hamburger, but still, it's just each individual meal that I had over this travel period alone was fine, not a problem. But all of them stacked up together was just too much. So I ordered the Mag 7 when I was still in Nebraska, and it came to the house on Sunday, and I took 3, which is like the maximum. And I'll be honest, it wasn't until yesterday, Monday, that I finally had full relief. I mean, Saturday, I was even thinking, at what point do I have to go to the hospital? Because it was really bad, very uncomfortable. But so today I am feeling better. It took 24 hours. The thing says it's supposed to work overnight. It took me like 24 hours before I was relieved. But I am feeling much, much better now. And what I did want to mention, though, are some non-scale victories. My clothes, I didn't have to buy new clothes. I guess that's kind of sad, isn't it? Well, I haven't lost enough that I needed new clothes, but they fit better. And when I got there, I saw people that I haven't seen in 6 months. Some of them I haven't seen for a year. And a bunch of people told me how nice I looked, like almost out of the blue, like, "Oh, you're looking so cute," or "You're looking really great," how or whatever. And nobody noticed that I lost weight. 20 pounds, with as much as I have to lose, 20 pounds, nobody's going to think weight loss. But they did think I looked nice. And I do think that's because the 20 pounds made me look just a little bit better in the clothes that I already had. So that felt good. The other thing was when I got on the plane and I paid for the extra seat with a little bit more leg room. I think it's only like 4 or 6 inches or whatever, but that makes a huge difference because before, when I was in economy, I would bring the seat down, not the seat, the tray table down, and it was right up against my belly. And that gets uncomfortable, especially when I've got my laptop open or whatever. It's just uncomfortable. So I went ahead and paid for the extra room, but I'm going to show you this picture. The reason I was thrilled was because I had plenty of room. Like, I just had plenty of room, and I haven't lost that much. Well, maybe I have. I don't know. I should take my measurements. I'll think about that. But it just was even more comfortable than the last time I had even asked for the extra 4 to 6 inches. So that was really, really nice. And then putting on my seatbelt, not a lot of extra, but it wasn't all the way at the end. The buckle wasn't all the way at the end of the strap, in order to get me strapped in. So those things were just really great. Not noticeable to anybody else, but they really felt good to me and made me much more comfortable overall. Okay, that's enough of that. So what did I do well? So honestly, the packets of protein, putting my protein in these little packets, and and again, yeah, it looks a little like drugs. Nobody stopped me. I took these in my personal item through security. Nobody said anything, not at all. And but the clear protein in the packets and the protein shakes in the packets really helped, and I think that really kept my protein intake up. And then taking the hydro flask and the thermos really helped, just to shake stuff up and whatever. So I think that is what I did right. Researching some of the restaurants around there was a good idea. I just didn't have a lot of choice, and I made as best choice as I could when I was picking out things to eat for lunch in that buffet. But you're kind of limited. So what I should have done is I have a little powder that I put 2 scoops into my protein shakes in the morning. It's called Fiber Pro, and it's got a probiotic and it has fiber in it. Not a lot. Each, like 2 scoops only gives you 5 grams of fiber. But that was every single morning that I was doing that, in addition to the fiber that I naturally get when I eat. And I think taking that away, in addition to not hydrating correctly, I think that really contributed to the constipation. And then the other thing that contributed to that, obviously, was the Tums. And I did not understand. I did not know until I came home, and I'm like, I'm going to look this up. Because the meals were so heavy, I had heartburn. I haven't really dealt with heartburn on since I've had a GLP-1, since I started this. And I had heartburn like all week. It was just the meals were just too heavy, too many of them. And so I was popping Tums. I was taking, I don't know, 6 to 8 a day. And I think not on a GLP-1, it probably wouldn't affect you, but I think the lack of hydration, the lack of extra fiber, and the constipation, I'm sorry, and the Tums contributed to the constipation. And so I am definitely going to keep that in mind the next time I travel. So what happened? So if you remember with my weight, what happened with my weight? So if you remember last week, I said I was going to give myself the grace to accept if my weight went up. It did not. This is what the scale said. I only lost 0.3 of a pound, but that's okay. I really expected to have gained weight. And when I think about the food that they gave us and the food that I was just sort of grabbing when I could eat something, I'm grateful I did not gain weight. And so I'm down total 21.7 pounds. And that means I'm only 3.3 pounds away from 25 pounds down. And 25 pounds down seems exciting to me. I don't know. Maybe it's not. You can let me know. So if you have any other travel tips that you've done while on a GLP-1, let me know. I would appreciate it. So that's it for right now, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.